Welcome back to Nerderotic. My name is Gary Beekler, and I come to you from nerderotic.com, and I am live in San Francisco, and we're here to cover the abomination called Star Trek Discovery, the third episode of season 2, which might have put the dagger in the heart of the Star Trek franchise. Hyperbole? I think not. That was the worst episode of Star Trek. I mean, I will take space hippies and Spock's brain any day. I will take season. I hate it when people keep on saying, well, Star Trek The Next Generation had a rough start too. Are you actually going to compare Star Trek Discovery season 1 or 2 to Star Trek The Next Generation season 1? Are you crazy? Are you insane? Oh my God, I've been spurging out for the last hour. Just ask Mrs. Nerderotic. So we have not seen adult Spock yet, but they have fundamentally ruined the character. It's done. It is absolutely done. Okay, so as you can here, I'm probably going to knock over my story. I don't have time to pull my spoilers ahead. Okay, there's going to be spoilers. So if you haven't seen the episode, just don't. Just don't. If you're a Star Trek fan, you can have hashtag headcanon. Just don't see the episode, pretend it didn't exist, go on about your life, be happy, and I will try to just break it down for you real quick. This is more about you and I chatting. I'm going to do a full review video later tonight. It'll be out sometime tomorrow. All right, so where do we start here? We have 3 stories in this. We have the story of Spock and being in Starbase 5. He is committed himself. We have Tilly in the commander training program, and we have Vok and Laurel on Kronos, I believe, and they are the whole Klingon thing. And I was waiting for the Klingons to show up, and they've screwed them up pretty good too. Now, listen, I'm not the purveyor of all Trekker knowledge here, but I have been a Star Trek fan all my life. I'm a pretty old dude. I'm 49. I've been watching it since I was a wee little lad and enjoyed the hell out of it. As a matter of fact, I've got my little Star Trek toys like right here, just right here. There you go. And getting ready to put some more up. So we have Tilly seeing visions of her friend May. While she's doing the commander training program, she's doing a marathon on the ship, and apparently they need to turn the lights on and off for this marathon, and she keeps seeing the visions, and May stops her at one point while she's running this marathon, and Tilly says, I can't have any part of this, and then manages to catch up to the 3 other people she was running against and beat them. So if you and I went back and watched this, if you go back and watch the running scene, these people are like fast walking. So Tilly can catch up. And let's just say Tilly is, she beat the Asian guy with 0% body fat. I don't know how the hell that happened, but she managed to. But the other amazing thing about this episode is they were able to have 3 separate characters positively affirm Tilly in under 1 minute, which was amazing. I was actually impressed. I'm not even mad. We had Saru tell her she's amazing. We had the ghost tell her she's amazing. And then Michael Burnham, who had like really flat, weird hair. I can't take my eyes off her hair for some reason. Tell her she's amazing. We were able to pretty much, this Tonight Show did something amazing. It checked off every box on the Bechdel test before the credits ran. Well done, Star Trek Discovery. But they're rewriting the Bechdel test. It's Star Trek, the Bechdel test. That's pretty much what this is. It was something else. So Amanda shows up in Sarek's ship, and we find out that she stole Spock's medical records. There's just a quick scene with Captain Pike. Captain Pike was a little concerned that he snitched out his friend Spock to the Federation. That's how Amanda found out. But Mikey Spock told him it was okay, so everything's okay. The traitor who started a war told him everything was okay, so everything's okay. So yes, we are getting insecure Captain Pike. we're starting out with Mikey Spock doing the voiceovers and talking about the Red Angel, and she's figuring out, what Spock's doing. So Amanda shows up in Sarek's ship. Now, Sarek is off with the Federation, forming a committee on the red points of light. And Amanda went to go see Spock on Starbase 5. They wouldn't let her see him. So she stole his medical records, but she couldn't access them. So she asked Mikey Spock to access them. And now we find out, well, what happened between Spock and Mikey Spock. So their relationship changed when Mikey Spock ran away from home because of the logic extremists. The logic extremists. I am extremely reasonable. I am extreme about that's like extreme meditation. Okay. I mean, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. So this is what happens when soap opera writers take over Star Trek. And did we have feelings in hallways? We had feelings in hallways, in corridors, in palaces. It was amazing. And throughout the entire episode, everybody's going to Mikey Spock for advice. I am so not done. So Mikey Spock tells Amanda that to save Spock, because Spock used to hero worship Mikey Spock, and he was her little shadow, that she was afraid that the logic extremists would get to him too. So she had to wound him deeply so he would stay away. How many of us predicted this would happen? That this was going to happen? That it would be Mikey Spock will do something to wound Spock so deeply, his fragile emotional being, Spock, because he's so emotionally fragile. That Spock, I'm sure we all are totally familiar with that Spock. So he is so emotionally wounded by Mikey Spock for whatever she did. She didn't say what she did to wound him. That over all these years, when she tried to make amends, Spock would not talk to her. He was not interested because he was too hurt. So that's why Spock never mentions Michael Burnham, is because she hurt his fifis. Yes, it looks like that's the case, folks. So Amanda then blames Sarek for Spock breaking. We find out that they convince Pike to call the captain on Starbase 5, who has to mention his Nina, because we wouldn't have figured out he's Latin. So they had to mention his Nina. And they say something about talking to each other over the screen. By the way, they're all, well, you don't, you're one of the only people, you and my Nina are the only ones who communicate with each other over the screen. So they even talk about the fact that they're like communicating through hologram, which they never did in the original series, but and they always exclusively communicated through screens. So maybe they're going to fix that somehow. Maybe there's some kind of Cylon thing that makes them go back on their tech. I don't know. And I don't care at this point. So they convince Pike to hack Spock's medical records, and we find out Spock killed 3 people. Yeah, he killed 3 people and escaped. So none of them think Spock really did that, but this is Star Trek Discovery, so I think Spock probably actually killed him. Yeah, he did. And yeah, so they're going to go try to find Spock before these other people they've sent for Spock are going to find them, which, I'm guessing it's Section 31, which we find out about later. So Amanda, in telling the story of how she basically admits that she loved Michael Burnham more because she wasn't allowed to love Spock because of Sarek. So Sarek made her not love Spock because of his, he was supposed to be raised in the Vulcan way. So she just used all her love for Michael Burnham and didn't use it for Spock. So Spock was unloved and had his fifis hurt. I don't know how much longer CBS should let these people be in control of Star Trek, because I'm talking the first 15 minutes here, folks. So I'm going to get through this quick. Tilly continues her commander training program. She freaks out a little bit in front of Captain Pike. And then she, of course, What does she need to do? Talk to Michael Burnham. All she had to do was talk to Michael Burnham. And she mentions that she's seeing a ghost, and the ghost didn't know what tears were. So Michael Burnham surmises, just from hearing the ghost doesn't know what tears are, that it's part of the dark matter, and it has something to do with the spores. So she needs to go see Stamets, who sucks the little, it's a fungi, and it's that little green piece that fell on her from season 1. Oh, that is some clever writing. Remember that? Yeah, I remember it too, because they focused on it for like a full minute, dropping on her shoulder. How can we not see it? So that's what it was. It's part of the mycelial network or whatever. It's the, listen, one of the writers likes to drop shrooms, got into Paul Stamets, named a character after him, and decided to use the shroom network. And that's what I'm going to call it from now on, the shroom network. And honestly, I feel like I want to take shrooms after watching this goddamn episode. So there we go. Shrooms. Tilly is still in the commander training program because after seeing visions, cussing out her captain, amazingly winning a race against the Asian with 0% body fat. And there we go. So then we have the Klingons, and we have Tyler. And man, this one was a roller coaster. So first Tyler says, I don't feel like Tyler, I feel like Vok. And then he goes, I feel like Vok, I don't feel like Tyler. And then he says he's going to leave. And then he says he's going to stay. And Laurel obviously has a problem because she's the High Chancellor right now. And she has a problem because she has a human as her torchbearer. And yeah, that would probably be a problem on Klingon, on fucking Kronos with the Klingon Empire, because of, well, they just had a war with the Federation, which there's a lot of humans in the Federation. Okay. So, but yeah, he's there, no problem. So he is causing a problem. So what does he do? He calls Michael Burnham. Of course. I mean, crap. I have to do my taxes. I better call Michael Burnham. Oh man, I got to go pee. I better call Michael Burnham. She might have to, yeah, shrooms. I know, shrooms. Listen, if you have a problem, call Michael Burnham. So he calls Michael Burnham, and she tells him everything's going to be fine and that she should trust Laurel because despite they just had a big old war with the Klingons, she's a woman. So you need to trust her. So just trust in her because she's female. And he does, because he trusts Michael Burnham and he trusts Laurel. Then he finds out him and Laurel had a little Klingon baby, and she was keeping it from him. So we had not only feelings in hallways, we had secrets in hallways, and we have doubled down on the CW, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, they find out that they had a baby together. And there was one scene where one of the family members or whatever wants the paint wiped off his face because he doesn't want to be part of this whole thing anymore in the Klingon Empire. Oh, by the way, they all have hair, so everything's fine now. Like, we're all good with the Klingons. Ignore the fact that you can't understand what Laurel's saying. When she speaks, it sounds like she has a bunch of cotton balls in her mouth. So he asked Vok, or Vok Tyler wipes off the paint, and apparently that paint was like a bugging device, so that guy could listen to him, and he found out about the baby, and then of course kidnapped the baby and said, I'll give you the baby if you basically make me Chancellor. Because that's how it works. You can just sign it over, because the Klingons are just all about paperwork and bureaucracy. And so they decide to do it. And then at the exchange, they have a big old fight. There's 9 Klingons versus Vok, Tyler, and Laurel. Of course, Vok, Tyler, and Laurel win, hands down. Duh. But then more reinforcements come in, and the guy who he got Laurel to sign over the chancellery, whatever it is, to him. And then they are saved by Deus Ex Michelle Yeoh. So Michelle, Captain Emperor Georgiou had been hanging out down there on Kronos, and she looked like a Klingon, and she killed everybody else. And we find out that Laurel is actually a Federation puppet, and she's being held up by the Federation through Section 31, because that's the only way to maintain peace, is to have a female Klingon in charge. Well, Laurel in particular, because she wants to unite the Klingon Empire. She wants to unite our race, by the way, which I thought was, maybe our people, but our race. I thought that was a weird thing to say, but whatever. So while Georgiou and Laurel have to talk amongst themselves, so they have to send the dumb mail away. So they send Vok Tyler away. And then, of course, Emperor Captain Georgiou says Laurel has to get the tiny male minds of the Klingon Empire around the fact that she needs to be in charge. And they have to devise a plan because, Vok is a vulnerability for her. So what they do is they fake Vok's death and the baby's death. They blame it on Vok betraying Laurel so she doesn't look compromised hanging out with a human, and everybody believes it. And they even display, because Star Trek is for kids, everybody remember, this is a show for children. They show Vok's head and a little severed Klingon baby head. It was so cute. I want my McFarlane severed Klingon baby head. Can I get that right now, please? So yeah, this show for kids. They toss the heads over. Everybody, yay. Oh, by the way, she wants a fiercer title than Chancellor, so she wants everybody to call her Mother. And we have achieved peak Klingon feminism. Yay! All right, we did it. We did it. I'm not lying. You think I'm making this shit up? I'm not. This is what happened in the episode. So, of course, Georgiou, who was basically a space Nazi in her other dimension, is now in charge at Section 31. And she recruits Vok. And his man bun. By the way, can we talk about his man bun? Can we talk about just how cool man buns are? God, I wish I could have a man bun. When your hair is not long enough to have a ponytail, but you can do it up a little bit on the top. And it doesn't make you look like a samurai. It makes you look like an idiot. So just, lose the man bun, please. And if anybody's out there wearing a man bun, just get some scissors, just take the rubber band off, and believe me, people will stop laughing at you. So, no man buns, please, for Christ's sake. Like the fact that it was in style was bad enough, but that was like, oh my God, it was so 2016, please. Okay, let's get to the chat. We got some super chats here. That's where it ended. And we're going to, Amanda's going to go after Spock because his mother has to save him. And Sarah, what an abomination. Chris Persia, thank you for the $2 for sick bads, because this episode is vomit inducing. Thank you for the $2 Canadian. Yeah, I choked up in my mouth a couple times. It was freaking terrible. Peter Davison, 10 Australia dollars. Mother, I wish both you and Mrs. Nerderotic are, Mother and I both wish you and Mrs. Nerderotic are well. We are very well. Mrs. Nerderotic did not watch this episode, and I did. I'll be fine. I'll watch the Orville. I get to talk to my friends here. We get to commiserate. I get to watch other people talking about, some heads are going to explode. It's going to be kind of entertaining to watch. Oh, and I'm sure on Tumblr, people are just, oh my God, the feels. Tilly's still in the command training program. Yay. Yay me. Wow, this episode sounds worse than anything STD ever let loose upon the world. It's no longer an STD. This accelerated hemorrhagic fever like the movie Outbreak. We're in full-blown pandemic at this point. So, you know what? Let's be real. The first 2 episodes, it was like, hey, okay. I mean, it still sucks, but it doesn't suck as much. Now, this was season 1 times 10. Season 1 times 10. They might as well bring Lorca back at this point. George Bush Lorca. So, my God. John T. Net, by the way, thank you for the $100 Hong Kong dollars. I got so upset I almost did not thank my good friend John T. Net. Hail John T. Net. Dude. Oh my God. That was so bad. So if I can keep up with the chat here. So I'm looking forward to I skipped it this week, but I'm going straight to Rotten Tomatoes on this episode, and we're gonna see. Here's my guess. What's your guess, everybody? 96%, 94 to 96% critic reviews. That's my guess for this week's episode. Last week got 94%. And listen, I think some people from Rotten Tomatoes would genuinely like the episode. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that most critic reviews should be between 40 and 60%. They never agree on this stuff this much. That's why they're a bunch of friggin' shills. So that's why you come to YouTube, you come to Nerdrotic, you go to Doomcock, you try to get some, there's some good, go to JP, our good friend JP at Egotastic Fun Time. He'll keep it real for you. I don't know who's covering this episode tonight, but oh man, what a bad episode. STD sunk to a new low. Thank you, Commodore Ty. And it started right off the bat, desecrating Spock. This is what we were worried about when they were going to bring in a character like Spock. This is what the whole plan is. This whole trying to retroactively times up a show. And that's what they're doing. That's exactly what they're doing. That's why they inserted themselves into the Spock lineage, or the Vulcan lineage of Spock, so they can change it, so they can retroactively change it to fit today's current standards, which are whack, completely whack. Orville will help, and I will be watching it right after this, and then I will be going live with Susan right after this, and I'll be in a much better mood. This episode must have set up plot threads that they might get back to in future installments. Angel Feliciano, I hope not. I certainly hope not. I hope they just stop right here. Like I mentioned in the description, hopefully they just erase, and maybe that's what they're heading to. And if we spend an entire season and it ends up being true that the Red Angel is actually Spock with the red matter, and it's like 9 or 10 Spocks trying to set reality right. If his last act is kind of like at the end of Deadpool 2, and Spock, okay, we won't say shoots Kurtzman in the head. We'll just say he suggests that Kurtzman continue with the Dark Universe over at Universal. I'm sorry to sacrifice the Universal monsters, but I'm trying to save Trek here. And if I have to choose, what's up, England DG? If it Burnhams when I pee, do I have an STD? Yes, you do. And you need Fanicillin. Sorry, I'm clapping so much. I guess I've been watching too much PewDiePie. PewDiePie. It's the Nerdy Pie show. Can we start a boycott STD? Jonathan Shar, yes. At this point, yes. Boycott STD. I will continue to watch it. Yes, I have to pay for it because I'm honest. Call me mommy. I'm not that kind of kink. Oh, by the way, when Amanda kissed Burnham, did anybody see that? Okay, so some of you out there have seen the L Word, right? So Amanda was in the L Word. That was not a mother-daughter kiss. That was not a mother-daughter kiss. I thought we were just about to get some bow chicka wow wow, and I'm like, okay, I can get into this. But then they didn't. So yeah, that was straight up not a mother-daughter kiss. Thank you for saving me from watching this episode. Alexander, what's a pen? $20. $20 from Pen. I don't know what Pen is, but thank you, Alexandra. Did I say Alexandra? I suck all the way around. I got everything wrong on that one. I'm so sorry, Alexandra. My apologies. Thank you so much. It is my pleasure to save you an hour of your time, an hour of your life, that you can now go and watch grass grow or pay some bills, hug your mom, but not in the way that Amanda kissed Michael Burnham. That was very inappropriate, especially for a stepmother. I'm serious. That's the setup for a lot of porns. It is. That's what I hear anyway. Yeah, no, Amanda kissed Michael Burnham. Yeah, but it was supposed to be like a mother-daughter kiss, but it wasn't. It really wasn't. Man, I would show it to you, but they'll copyright strike me. Fickle, didn't you just love when Amanda said if Spock just got in touch with his feelings, he would be okay? Yes. I couldn't believe it. I'm like, this is what happens when, okay. Man, I got to dial this back a little bit, but you guys probably didn't see the Blu-ray special feature reviews because you like your eyes and your brain. But I have a show. So they showed a couple of the ladies from the story group. They look like they're just out of high school, and probably not lifelong Trek fans. I'm just guessing. This is the kind of story I would expect from them. From soap opera writers. Actually, I did write down who wrote this episode, but you got to remember, when whoever writes the episode, it's Kurtzman, it's the showrunners who are laying out the plots, and they just write the scripts. Okay, so they don't they're told what to write. What was his name? Oh, Andrew Colville. So Andrew Colville. Give me just a second. I'm going to look that up. Andrew Colville. Andrew Colville is written for Mad Men, Lone Star, Graceland. No, I don't know if he's written for these things. Let me see. There he is. IMDb. Let's see what Andrew Colville, as a writer, has 10 credits. So they are, I mean, he's got some sci-fi. He's got the 4400. That was a pretty decent show. North Shore, Lone Star, Mad Men, Graceland. Not a huge, Nikita. So, yeah, not one of his finer works here. So, yeah, let's get to the chat a little more. Too many chicks. They left. The left have been pushing incest and pedophilia for some time now. You know, they kind of have. It's been weird. I've seen a lot more of that stuff, and it's just getting it's well, you know, hey, when you get jaded in Hollywood, when you have your every need met, you know, because it's straight up master and servant down there. Star Trek is dead, and there will never be anything like it again. You're right. Thenard 101. That's the thing, is we're not going to get long running franchises anymore. That is a thing of the past. It's like the super group. We're not going to get a Pink Floyd or the Beatles ever again. Those things are gone. Our attention spans are just, we consume stuff too quickly. So we're not going to have 50-year franchises, and they're doing their damnedest to kill the ones we have. And they're pretty much dead at this point. There will be no talk of Doctor Who and Star Trek in 2023. Unless it's being rebooted. And that is, I mean, rebooted by Ronald Moore. Ronald D. Moore has to go, okay, I'm going to save Star Trek. God, it was terrible. Fanicillin, that's right. England, Fanicillin, that's what we are. We're the Fanicillin for the STD. PC, Peter Capaldi, SJ Jody, W. Garbage, 2 pounds. Very well said. Agreed. Absolutely agreed. I've got a video coming out on that very subject. Oh, Moffat said something. I mentioned it in a live stream. Moffat said something amazing over a year ago that I want to remind everybody, that was brought to me on Twitter. By the way, I was asked, it's not popping up right now. Hang on. For some reason, I cannot see my super chats. That sucks. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to read these, and then I got a boogie woogie to Orville. My wife walked in and said, someone on that STD show has mommy issues. I'm sorry for your pain. Lucas Lavador, they really do. Some Oedipus shit going on big time. $5. Thank you very much. Garbage again. Thank you for the 2 pounds. PC, Peter Capaldi, SJ Odie, W Whitaker. Love it. And oh man, and Captain KG, thank you for being my weekly dose of Fanicillin. Hey, we're all in this together. You are mine. You are mine. If it wasn't for you people, I would be spurging out on Mrs. Nerdrotic right now, and she'd just go, I don't care. I really don't care. So I really appreciate you guys. Brooklyn Babe, $3. Bless you for sitting through that disgrace of a show. Thank you so much, Brooklyn Babe. It was a little painful. I'm definitely going to have to watch some original series. I mean, I got to go to like a go-to. I got to, man, I don't know. Maybe even a two-parter. Maybe some, yeah. I'm going to have to watch some, either TNG. Maybe I'll have to go to DS9. Yeah, I'm going to go to DS9 tonight for my palate cleanser. Do the Klingons still remind us of Cenobites from the Hellraiser? Yes, they do, Joel Timboro. They absolutely do. They just put hair on it. That's it. And they mentioned, oh, are they growing their hair again now that the war is over? Because Michael Burnham would bring that up. It was bloody awful. All right, folks, I have another show to do. I hate to leave you all, man. This was a tough one. Please join me Friday night, tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Sorry if for my friends in Europe, I'm doing another live stream Monday, the following Monday, earlier for you guys, and we can talk about this because I'm going to be talking about this. I might do like 10 videos on this. I'm so pissed off about this. My review probably will be 2 parts because I just have to do one on Spock. I'm still trying to wrap my head around like how bad this was and how much damage it did to the canon. And I'm a little worried for my friend Doomcock. Honestly, I've said that before, but I'm genuinely worried. I don't think he needs to make a new helmet. He needs a adamantium helmet or a vibranium helmet to deal with this one because he is going to be pissed. I'm usually I usually don't let a show trigger me as much as tonight's did, but it was bad. I got to watch this episode for how bad it seems to be. Eddie from Space. Yeah, it is kind of a car wreck. I mean, you got to see it. Because some of you might not believe what I've been telling you, and I did not hit everything. Oh, believe me, I'm sure I forgot a couple things. But Fickle pointed one out that was great. That if Spock only identified with his feelings and talked to his mummy, he would have been much better. So the moral of the story is, if you're in trouble, call Michael Burnham. If you want to win over the Klingons, sever a baby head, because it's a show for kids. And no matter what Tilly does, and when she starts seeing visions and she screams at her captain and she miraculously wins a marathon that she was woefully behind in, but and then she beats the Asian guy with 0 body fat. You're watching Star Trek Discovery. And I didn't even get to Captain Emperor Georgiou. And basically both of her masculating lines. One was tiny males and the other one, it doesn't matter. So by the way, they sent the baby down to a planet with a bunch of Klingon monks. So the baby's going to live with the Klingon monks. I'll leave you with that. Everybody, thank you to all over 450 of you tonight. I am truly blessed to have so many great subscribers and good, funny people in the chat. You guys honestly make me feel better, and you're funny as hell. Don't let anybody tell you differently. Don't let the Dreckies give you any crap. And if they do, just ghost them. They're not even worth your time. Believe me, it's the same 20 people on Twitter, by the way. It's not this large group of people. And we will continue fighting the good fight, and hopefully there's no word yet on whether this has been canceled yet. I know that for a fact. So they have not made a decision. So we will find out soon, though. I will point out before we go that CBS had a big meeting in Pasadena in the last 48 hours announcing The Good Fight gets another season, announcing Twilight Zone getting a premiere date of April 1st, announcing The Stand by Stephen King. They had every opportunity to announce season 3 for Star Trek Discovery, but they didn't. Isn't that interesting? Maybe because they're waiting to see. TK, $5. Thank you for holding the line on this garbage. TK, I will. I promise you that. So thank you so much for the $5 and $10 super chat from Jim Olson. What's up? The Jimmy Olson. I can't stand this show, and I totally agree with you, but beggars can't be choosers, and there's not enough new sci-fi out there, so I'll still watch it. No. Watch The Expanse. Watch The Expanse. That's all you need. Is The Expanse. You don't need to watch this show just because it's Star Trek. That's what they're relying on. I appreciate the $10, but that's what they are relying on. Watch Star Trek Continues. I watched an episode last night, but definitely watch The Expanse. You want a good sci-fi show? It's not in space. Watch Counterpart. That show needs your help. That is truly a great television show. You know what? Like Jimmy Olsen, DM me. I'll find you a way to watch Counterpart, and I'll show you the first episode, and you will not regret it. All right, everybody, I do have to go. I have to skedaddle. I will be back in an hour with the Orville. Join me then. Watch the Orville, Jimmy. The Orville's great. You guys are great. Thank you. Good night. May the small folks sing songs of your greatness.